Every woman deserves to feel vibrant, safe, loved, and feel her power. The Woman's Vibrancy Code podcast is here for a potent use of your time. We will cover energy, hormones, and libido with episodes that also dive into entrepreneurship, money mindset, feminine power, and much, much more. Introducing Mariah Brown, Yale and functional medicine trained women's health expert, midwife, mom, and entrepreneur.
This morning, and actually in the last 24 hours, there have been a number of women that have reached out to me with recent diagnosis of breast cancer or a recent family member who crossed over from breast cancer. And so when for me, when there's a pattern like that, I go, okay, time to talk about this topic, relevant, important. So let's talk about breast health. So first, in the realm of breast health, I want you to think about estrogen as a really important role here. So breast cancer, I really believe in law of attraction. And so I'm choiceful with my words. Even saying the word out loud, I generally cringe. But let me just start out at the beginning by saying, when we talk about breast cancer, I think of it in the estrogen world. So we can also loop in ovarian cancer, uterine cancer, and even colon cancer. Okay. So let me stop using that word and I'm going to focus on breast health. So the big thing that we want to watch out for is estrogen dominance. Okay. So for women who have chosen not to become pregnant, not to have children, or not to breastfeed for whatever reason, whether it was a choice or just didn't work out in their favor to be able to take that route, we do have that scenario of unopposed estrogen. Okay. So pregnancy is a time that is progesterone dominant. And so the simple act of being pregnant, and same with breastfeeding, it becomes chapters in our life where we are having the hormonal opposition of estrogen. Okay. When on the other hand, we have high levels of estrogen and we continue to ovulate through our entire lives, especially women who started their menses early and started menopause on the later side. Now we have even more estrogen that the body has been exposed to over time. And so for those women, my feelers go up and we go, all right, we're going to be even more proactive, right? We also need to take into consideration any family history. If you have women that are blood related, mothers, grandmothers, aunties that have had an estrogen dependent not so great scenario, then we want to be even that much more proactive. So sometimes we go, well, I don't even know if I have estrogen dominance, right? Well, for all of you in this space, I'm ordering your Dutch test and we can look at your Dutch test. And that's just, at this chapter in life, obviously we can shift it, we can change it. The other thing is, how much estrogen have you been exposed to from an exogenous space? Meaning, have you cleaned up and removed plastics, even if they're BPA free? Have you cleaned up your beauty care products, your shampoos, your conditioners, your makeups, your lotions, to make sure that they're phthalate free, paraben free, like cleaning them up, using the Dirty Dozen, using the EWG app to really figure out, okay, how can I clean up my products? And if you're like, I don't even know what to look for in the ingredients, the EWG app is helpful, but also in general, if you have like a Whole Foods or a Sprouts or a natural food store near you, or you can get your hands on someone local that is creating lotions and beauty care products, then you're probably on the right route. And then the same thing goes for laundry detergents, cleaning products, deodorants. Okay, if you use an antiperspirant, my friend, it's time to stop. We just use deodorant, fine, but not the antiperspirants. The aluminum in them are no good. Now, if you have, if you're going to be on stage and you're going to be nervous and you don't want your armpits sweating, well, maybe that one day you use some antidepressant. Like, I'm going to be in New York next week and there's this big media mixer. And I imagine my nerves might be up. I'll probably borrow somebody's antiperspirant for that day. Otherwise, it's okay for armpits to sweat a little bit. Okay. Use some fresh aromatherapy, shower. So what we're looking at is trying to figure out, can we reduce or eliminate the endocrine disruptors that our body is being exposed to on a daily basis. Okay, listen, babies, they have taken cord blood of newborn babies and found more than 250 toxic chemicals in the cord blood of newborn babies. Okay. So I'm not saying that to scare anybody, but it's just, we live in a more toxic world. It's in the water we're drinking. It's in the air we're breathing. So it means that we get to make really conscious efforts on our part to try to clean up what we're being exposed to. Are you filtering your water? Do you have a HEPA filter and air filtration in your home? When it comes to fragrances, really be aware of those candles that you're burning or those plug-in fragrance things. It's like I don't know about you, but I can walk in a room and it gives me a headache within seconds. Like, no. The fake fragrance, the body actually interprets as the same thing. It mimics hormones. And so it actually takes it on as estrogen, but it takes it on as the not so great estrogen that actually becomes toxic in the body. If you're going, well, I don't know if I have estrogen dominance, if you've been diagnosed with fibroids, if you have heavy bleeding, if you have breast tenderness, if you have a kind of pronounced PMS, irritability, there's menstrual cramps, there's so many things that we can kind of link, brain fog even. There's a lot of things that we can link with estrogen dominance. If you're someone who tends to drink a good amount of alcohol can bring that estrogen up. Okay. Now, estrogen is not all bad. The first half of our menstrual cycle, we want estrogen. It's what keeps our brain functioning and our bones strong and helps us have energy and prepares us for ovulation. Whether or not you want to get pregnant, ovulation is still the main event that then stimulates the production of progesterone during your second half of your cycle. And we want progesterone. It helps us sleep and it helps our mood and it helps balance out that estrogen and it lubricates the joints and is a bit of a smooth muscle relaxant, right? Like we want all of this, but we want it in its symphony. And what happens is when the estrogen gets too high, based on genetics, based on lifestyle, based on what we're eating, okay? Making sure that if you're eating meat, it hasn't been exposed to hormones or antibiotics, right? Because if that cow was injected with hormones and steroids and then you're ingesting it, guess what, my friends? Okay, we are throwing off our estrogen. And so what happens is then the cellular change is more likely. And so we have to care for our ovaries and our breasts and our uteruses that much more. The other thing is stress. Okay. Stress reduction is going to be powerful on all levels, right? It's going to help inflammation go down. It's going to help cortisol go down, which means now our hormones get to produce in a healthy way, right? So we practice our meditation, we move our body, we hydrate well, we drink our adaptogen elixirs, right? We try to eat a diet that's very rich in produce and keep those processed foods and sugars out of our mouths, unless it's a really special treat, okay? For some of us, cutting out gluten really serves our bodies. For some of us, cutting out dairy really serves our bodies, particularly in the conversation of estrogen. Dairy is kind of one of those, like, we don't really love it so much. Okay. There's something called your estrobolome, which relates to your gut microbiome, and it is directly linked to the production of healthy estrogen. So when you hear me talk about it in the gut modules, when we're talking about a probiotic rich diet and a prebiotic rich diet, we want to keep our gut microbiome rocking, right? So that means stress reduction. That means vagus nerve stimulation. I want to make sure I talk about vagus nerve a little bit. I'm going to write that down before I forget. Vagus nerve. It also, when our gut microbiome is strong, it means our serotonin gets to be turned on, which is our happy hormone. It means our immune system gets to turn on, right? So it's all linked and it's all important. So prebiotic rich foods, many people, everybody's heard the word probiotic, right? So your kefir, your yogurts, your kimchi, your sauerkraut, your fermented foods, your miso soup, kombucha, all of that really helps to introduce healthy probiotics into our gut lining so that it can do a better job. Okay. Prebiotics all come from plants, and they help the good bacteria do a better job at what it's supposed to do. Okay. So we want healthy, rich, wide variety of prebiotics. Some of the ones that are most well known are going to be your garlic, your onion, artichoke, Jerusalem artichoke, beans, chicory root. One of the reasons why I love Dandy Blend, it's got chicory root in it, plus the dandelion. So it's supporting your liver, right? So we're just thinking, okay, can I eat a wide variety of fruits, vegetables, and berries every day? Can I try to get in every color? Make sure I'm eating fiber rich. Your legumes are another great source of prebiotics. Your ground flax. Okay. And ground flax, oh, by the way, is also a great source of your phytoestrogens. Okay. So stress, we're talking movement, sleep, quiet, boundary setting. It's really, really, really important. And I love that you're all in this space because you're being proactive and preemptive. You know, it broke my heart this morning. Actually makes me feel really emotional. This woman, she's been curious about my program for 2 years. And she reaches out to me this morning saying, I love your work. I've been watching you for a long time. And here's my diagnosis today. What do I do? And I go, oh, okay. I got you. Let's work with this. And what if we would have started this 2 years ago? Like, we don't get to know the things that we prevent. We get to celebrate the things that we will never know could have happened had you not been proactive and in this space and taking these steps. And so here we are. I want to say out loud genetics. So if you do have family history, just remember our genetics load the gun. Our lifestyle pulls the trigger. We are not purely our genetics. Think about a caterpillar and a butterfly. Same exact DNA, different expression based on life. Okay. So as we are taking these steps to clean up our diet, clean up our environment, clean up our mindset, clean up our stress reduction and boundary set and all the things that we do in the midst of this space, we are shifting our genetic expression. And once again, preventing. Okay, from a nutritional standpoint, I've already mentioned lots of plants. You can't go wrong. More plants, more better. Okay, if you want to ingest meat, I'm a fan of meat from a protein source. Just make sure that it's hormone free and antibiotic free. Same with your collagen. We want to make sure it's antibiotic free, hormone free. Same with bone broths that you're using. Okay. Phytoestrogens, I think, are an important topic when we're talking about nutrition. Phyto meaning plant, estrogen. So plant-based estrogens. Examples are primrose oil, red clover, soy, flax as some examples. Okay, soy has gotten a bad rap. I don't think soy is all bad as long as it's organically grown and non-GMO. Okay. If you happen to be one of those people that your body really doesn't handle soy, we find other routes. You're adding in your ground flax every day. You're eating your wide variety of plants, right? We're getting our phytoestrogens from all different sources. But if your body handles soy and you can get an organic non-GMO source, awesome. Because when it comes to estrogen receptors, there's an alpha and a beta. Okay. If I'm remembering correctly off the top of my head, it's the alpha. That's the no thank you, right? So your endocrine disruptors, your plastics. Okay. So we're keeping our water out of plastics. We're keeping our food out of plastics. We're storing our food out of plastics. Okay. Your beta receptor, on the other hand, is what phytoestrogens have an affinity towards. And beta receptors are actually protective against breast cancer. So when we're eating a diet that's rich in phytoestrogens, adding in our ground flax every day that's organic and we're storing it in the fridge, maybe taking a supplemental primrose oil, maybe drinking red clover tea, maybe using a soy protein powder that's organic and non-GMO, or you've tofu or miso soup or tempeh, right? We are adding in healthy phytoestrogens that have an affinity to the beta receptor, which is protective against breast cancer. Okay. I love Dr. Christiane Northrup. She says the beauty of bringing in phytoestrogens is if your estrogen is low, they help bring it up. And if your estrogen is high, they help bring it down. Okay. So really, it's very rare that we can go wrong in the phytoestrogen world. And there's lots of places you're going to see that share a different message, particularly in the realm of breast cancer. From all of the research that I've done and all the people that I follow, even there was a study that MD Anderson Cancer Institute did specifically utilizing soy protein powder for their stage 4 ovarian cancer patients. It's like, I'm a big fan of phytoestrogens. So the more we can get in, the better, no matter your age. Okay. So this is not just for women in their 40s, 50s, 60s. This is to start early on. Right? If we can get those teenagers to get the message of cleaning up their beauty care products, and we can find the people that are promoting these beauty care products, but help them see that there are options out there that are endocrine disruptor free and still feel luxurious, and you can still feel beautiful. Yes, yes. From a supplemental standpoint, I mentioned primrose oil. One thing with soy, I'm not a fan of taking it in supplemental form as an isolated fragmented thing. If you're going to do soy, it's got to be organic, non-GMO, and as a food. If you have been diagnosed with excess estrogen, DIM, D-I-M. So cruciferous veggies, your broccoli, your cauliflower are great to help the body detox the excess estrogen. Sweating. Make sure that you're getting an exercise or have a sauna. You know, I did my sweat this morning. Yeah, I spend 20, 25 minutes in my Farrar infrared sauna and I'm dripping, especially right now because my back is a little bit out. I've got like these muscle spasms, so I can't really go do cardio and sweat, but I can get in there and in 20 minutes, I am dripping. And so that is part of the detoxification pathway. We want to pee it out, poop it out, sweat it out, and then help our body what's called methylate. So it's part of the detoxification. So our broccolis, our cruciferous veggies, they have components that help us get rid of the excess, not so great estrogen. And DIM is one of those supplements that has like a bunch of it condensed. And so if you're one of those people that's been diagnosed with estrogen dominance, DIM is a great supplement. Also making sure, remember, we don't want unopposed estrogen. So what, on the other hand, we do want progesterone levels to continue to be up. Okay. We want to ovulate. That stimulates progesterone. If you choose to become a mother, that brings up your progesterone and opposes that estrogen, right? If neither of those things are happening or they have, and you want to give extra love and care, things that can help bring up your progesterone during the second half of your cycle are things like wild yam cream, chase tree berry, which is also known as Vitex, cinnamon, ginger, right? You know that I'm a big advocate of moving our body and exercising based on where we are in our moon cycle so that we honor our rhythms. And as we honor our rhythms and honor that, if the moon can pull tides, I know it's pulling on us, then we are honoring our innate production of hormones as well and our innate well-being. I do want to say out loud, if you're like, oh, I'm good, I've been taking progesterone pills. I've been on the pill. I've been on the mini pill. I have the progesterone IUD. That's a different progesterone. It's the pharmaceutical. It's called progestin. And if you listen to the interview that I did with Dr. Sarah Hill, she wrote Your Brain on the Pill. What research is showing out of, she's at one of the universities in Texas, down in Houston. They're finding that progestins, the pharmaceutical progesterones, are actually sending the adrenals into hyperdrive. So now the adrenals are just pumping out cortisol without a negative food feedback loop. So in other words, adding stress to the body, which then at a foundational level, we know all the dominoes that are falling from that added cortisol in the body at all times, right? So no bueno, no me gusta, right? We do not want that scenario. Now, if you also want to have autonomy and control over your fertility, and that is the best form of contraception for you, girl, then go do it. But let's make sure that we're also making conscious choices around ways to help the body detoxify those extra hormones, and know that there are some not so great side effects. Yeah. Mindset, attitude of gratitude. Like I always talk about what's going in and out of your eyes, your mouth, your heart. We're talking a lot about what's going into our mouth. Are we speaking our truth? It's going to help our thyroid. Our eyes, what's going in? Can we filter out the fear-driven media? Can we filter out some of the people we're following in social media? Right? Through what mind's eye are we choosing to see the scenario? Through what mind's eye are we choosing to see ourselves? Life is happening for us and by us, not to us. There's a reason why prayer works. There's a reason why there's a placebo effect of, on average, 30 to 35% with any double-blind placebo-controlled trial. Our mind is powerful. Okay? Detoxification, I've talked a little bit about. We want to make sure we're pooping every day. We want to support our methylation. So as I'm looking at your Dutch test, and I'm looking not just at your estrogen, but how your body is detoxifying that estrogen. You know, if it's a bunch down the O4 pathway, the 16 pathway, 2 pathway, we're gonna make some shifts to make sure that your bones are still cared for, but also we're doing our best to prevent the not so great, nasty aspects of some of the things that estrogen can do in the body. But we love estrogen. We want estrogen. Okay. Makes us feel great, particularly for women as they go through their 40s, 50s, and beyond. From a mechanical standpoint, lymphatic massage is a really important thing. So we all should be doing our monthly breast exams, right? That's probably one of the best ways to really promote your breast health. When you're in the shower, you're already cleaning your body, use soap and water. I was taught like the direction, like imagine like a lawnmower, over, down, over, down, over, down. So, and you're thinking like little circles, light, medium, deep, light, medium, deep. And what you're feeling for is anything that just feels abnormal. If you feel lumpy, bumpy, feel around the same breast, feel the other breast. Do you feel something like it somewhere else? Then it's likely normal. Okay. If you feel something, you're like, ooh, no, that's very different. That feels like a hard pee. It feels like a lumpy, bumpy thing. Okay. Is it movable? If it's movable, we're a little bit less concerned. If it's tender, we're a little bit less concerned. And you're the one that knows your own breast texture. And many of them are super lumpy, bumpy. They're going to feel different. They look different, right? And so you're doing these little circular motions and you're just feeling for anything that feels different. Is it hard? Is it non-tender? And is it immovable? All right, time to call your provider. And when you go to your provider, you're going to advocate for an ultrasound and a diagnostic mammogram. You're going to advocate for an ultrasound of the spot and a diagnostic mammogram. The other thing is when we think about our lymphatic fluid, we have lymph nodes all over our body, lots and lots of them. Okay. From when you hear about people doing dry brushing from the extremities towards the heart. So from our ankles up through our groin, up to our center, from our wrists to our heart, even in our face and down our neck. Okay. When the way that I said that, that's the direction that the lymphatic fluid flows. And there's these little like doorways from lymph node to lymph node that push the lymphatic fluid through. And when the little doorway opens up, the lymphatic fluid flows through and it can't go back the other direction. The doorways it's a one-way street. And the lymphatic fluid moves at like kind of the rhythm of a slow heartbeat. It has a rhythm to it, kind of like cerebral spinal fluid. If you've ever had craniosacral, okay, it's moving. And as we are going through our day and engaging our muscles It's the muscle engagement that stimulates the movement of that fluid. You can also get lymphatic massage. You can do your own lymphatic massage. It's very gentle. It's very slow. You can do dry brushing before you get in the shower. Once again, we're moving from the extremities towards our heart, from the top of our face down our neck, okay, down to the collarbone and below. Now, the reason I bring this up is in the realm of breast health, we don't really have muscle that's moving around the lymphatic fluid in our breasts. The pectoris, the muscles in our breasts, are underneath the breast tissue. And so no matter if you're doing a bunch of exercise, lifting weights, moving around constantly, there's nothing in those actions that are moving the lymphatic fluid and helping the breast tissue to detoxify. Okay. So breast massage is really valuable. I brought in a guest, I think it was in July, and she's fun and quirky, and I'm not remembering her name off the top of my head. I'll remember it, but she specializes in this, and it's like her passion, right? She lives and breathes this stuff. And she walked everybody through how to do breast massage, okay? Into your armpits, up through the side of your breast tissue, from your sternum out, okay? And so just when you're doing your self-breast exam, you're also in some ways kind of giving yourself a bit of a lymphatic massage. And so allow it to be a conscious action and step of, I'm helping my breast tissue detoxify. I'm helping this lymphatic fluid flow, because it's the lymphatic fluid is what carries the toxins and the not so great stuff out. Okay. And then the body knows how to get rid of it. Vagus nerve stimulation is one of those things that helps decrease stress, sends your body into rest and digest, turns on gut health, directly linked to that estrobolome when I'm talking about estrogen in the gut microbiome conversation. I think I already mentioned thyroid. It supports the thyroid. And so vagus nerve stimulation, there's some like things that are kind of random. Like obviously meditation helps stimulate the vagus nerve. Breath work can stimulate the vagus nerve. Other things are singing like you're an opera singer, whatever that, when you're in the shower, in the car, actually stimulates your vagus nerve. Another random one is gargling. They say if you gargle for up to a minute until your eyes water, that's a sign that your vagus nerve has been stimulated. And so it's a really important thing for us to explore in the realm of stress reduction, in the realm of healthy gut, in the realm of healthy thyroid. And then all of that ties to healthy estrogen and progesterone levels, which then means we get to preserve our breast and ovarian and uterine health for the long run.
Thank you for listening to the Woman's Vibrancy Code. Connect with us and take the first step to transforming your energy, hormones, and libido at thewomansvibrancycode.com. Cheers to your zest and vitality. Make sure to follow for weekly power-packed value.